Shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, a great millstone that taught us his truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful like Akim, teaching and preaching his truth with all righteousness and sincerity. This is Akia Wasap. Today's lesson is entitled Layoffs, Pay Cuts, and a Hiring Freeze. The Lord willing be edified by the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, the true names of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. As always, our lessons, our sit downs, our street speaking is for the remnant, the elect, the Israel of the Most High. Unto you is the gospel preached. Shalom. So just a little, information on what's going on, as far as the health of the economy. All right, a lot of these jobs, all right, they're having either layoffs, hiring slowdowns, all right, they're cutting the workforce, slashing jobs, all right, hiring freezes, so on and so forth. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's all about the global elites and their plans to hip the population. All right, they have to weaken the civilians in order for them to willingly submit and take the implantable technology. All right, the inflation, the cost of living, the debt and financial crisis, all right, the cost of living crisis, the housing crisis, all these different reports that's been coming out, the CPI, the GDP, and it's all darkened. It's all bad news for Babylon the Great, and you also got to add in the diseases, the pestilences, you got the monkey business going and being spreaded. Yesterday, they just declared the United States, which is Babylon the Great, having a public health emergency in regards to the spread of the monkey business. You still got C-19 and its various variants, affecting people, and you got the certain weather phenomenons is happening. The heat waves, you got the wildfires, all right? You just got a lot of stuff going on, all right? And meanwhile, Jake is just in complete gross darkness, still in that folly and mirth spirit. And meanwhile, you have all this stuff going on, all right? Now, I did collect a little data. It says, and I actually wrote it down, since 1857, there was 34 recessions, and the average time during that time period was 17 months. And since 1980, there were 6 recessions, which an average of 10 months. So, they're trying to basically, say that we're technically not in a recession because the job market isn't reflecting that of a recession. However, there's been 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP, which that in itself is the determining factor of a recession. Now they do add jobs into that, all right, to completely classify the economy in a recession. But so technically we are in a recession, but they trying to dress it up to where we're not, all right. And like I said, a lot of these, tech companies, these major corporations is doing layoffs. You got Amazon, Walmart, you got the tech companies, Robinhood, Coinbase, Tesla, Google, Oracle. All right. A lot of these companies is suffering bad economically. All right. Either that or the work needs have declined. So there is some videos here, that's just been recently released, and I'll play maybe 1 or 2 of them. And one thing that's interesting, this was just released, from Daily Mail. This was probably less than 30 minutes ago. It says, that's millions of families with dignity and peace of mind. Biden celebrates his economic plan as U.S. more than doubles expected job increase with over 500,000 jobs added to payrolls. Now they saying this on one hand, but on the other hand, when you actually you know, look at alternative media, you know, the different reports is coming out how, jobs and layoffs and things of that sort is happening abundantly. But see, that's the mindset of Babylon the Great to keep you confused. Now, according to the prophecy, there is gonna be job cuts. There's not gonna be any work for Egypt. And let's go ahead and start off with that in Isaiah. All right. And, you actually want to read from the top. It's a message to Egypt. Now, this Egypt isn't talking about ancient Egypt ruled by Pharaoh. This is talking about modern day Egypt, which is America. When you read Revelation 11 and 8, it speaks about the great city being spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. All right. So I actually read the first verse and then skip down to the point. It says the burden of Egypt. When you go into this word burden, you'll find there the one of the words is oracle or prophecies. So these are the prophecies of Egypt. It says, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, the so-called UFOs. They known today as UAPs, or the new one I came across was unidentified vehicles, flying vehicles. All right. These are the aircrafts that the angels travel in, and they're swift. The different reports that came out in regards to these aircrafts, they have been clocked going over, 10, 12,000 miles per hour, defying the laws of gravity and all that. It says, and shall come into Egypt. That's why America has an uptick in, UFO, so-called UFO sightings. It says, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. So the whole lifestyle of this place is going to be brought low. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. We see that, amongst these Edomites, which are you so-called white people, you have that divide. You have the right against the left. You got the public Republicans against the Democrats. You got all these political parties, at odds with each other. All right. And then you have a social divide here, with the Roe versus Wade, and so on and so forth. You got people you got the vax people against the unvax people. You got all these different divisions happening here. It says, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. So there will be civil unrest. There will be, fights and different things happening, especially when this famine comes. All right. So now when we go down into this chapter, start the 14th verse, it says, and Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof. See, everything that we seeing happening with these people bugging out, these different, perverse lifestyles, the alphabet community, all the robbing, stealing, committing adultery, murder, all these different things. The Lord is doing that. All right. Man's goings is of the Lord. How then shall a man understand his own way? At the end of the day, this is the Lord's movie. But he has characters set up to fulfill certain roles. And the Bible gives characteristics of these people that's going to be doing what they're going to be doing. You read Obadiah, how Esau dwelleth in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is on high, and who saith in his heart, who shall bring me down? That exalted himself like an eagle. It gives characteristics of, these people. Jake, the Israelites will be out there sighing and crying for all abominations that be done in the midst thereof. They crying because of their oppressors. They got the curses on them. They're on the lower state. They possess and slay them and hold themselves not guilty, and they're going to be looking for a savior. So, the different characteristics of the people of the Bible, you measure it to the people that you see in the earth, and there you have it. You know who's who. All right, and it's through the spirit, of course. But continuing on in Isaiah 19 and 14, it says, and they have caused Egypt to err. Yeah, this whole westernized way of living, especially, this women's liberation, the different, sayings of Babylon the Great, for freedom and justice for all, that wine, that democracy, the religions and all this, be free. This has caused Egypt to err or sin in every work thereof. As a drunken man staggereth in the vomit. It says, neither shall there be any work for Egypt. Yeah, because all these jobs is going to slow down. It's going to slow up. All right. So that's why we read basic precepts like 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world, because these people who have an attachment or a fervency to Babylon in a way, in the way of life, they're going to be brought low. They're going to see the job is being taken away, the liberty and freedom is taken away, the pleasures, the entertainment, all that's being taken away. And in order for you to get somewhat of it back, you got to submit and take, the implantable technology. But see, the difference between us and these people of the world, we have a comforter. We have the comforter, Salakia, which is the spirit of truth, whom the world cannot receive. So when all this stuff is taken away from this people, our hope is in the word of the Lord, which that includes the salvation and the deliverance of the elect. We have a hope. You understand? Like it's saying Edges, we shall hope for the wide, something along those lines. If brothers is tuning in, you could post it on the comment section. We should look for the straits, but hope for the wide, or something along those lines. So continuing on in Isaiah 19:15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. So, the head, those are individuals that, are you can classify as being successful. The tail is the individuals that's on the low level. So there ain't going to be no work for nobody, because Esau wants to take away that American dream. And in order for you to get it back, you got to take the implantable technology. It says, in that day, Egypt shall be like women. This place is going to bitch up, And we see the state and condition of the Israelite man outside of the truth. They're beta, weak. They're trying to get it back. But at the end of the day, they're measuring their manliness by what the world is offering. You got to have a job. You got to make $10,000 a month. You got to have property. You got to have land. You got to do this. All that shit is going to be taken away. And without, those different, advantages, you're going to be like a woman out here. Don't know what's going on, weak, looking for answers, need protection, so on and so forth. And it shall be afraid and fear because of the shaking of the hand of Yahweh of hosts, which he shaketh over it, going into the judgment. The land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Yeah, Israelites, southern kingdom. They're going to make noise out here, especially when it's food, the lack of bread and water, different shutdowns, lockdowns, diseases, so on and so forth, power outages, cell phone towers not working, all that, man. Judah's going to rise up. They're going to be a terror into Egypt. They're going to be rioting, looting, invading houses, so on and so forth, just like what we experienced during the 1992 riots out here in LA, but on a wide scale. Everyone that make mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh of hosts. What's the counsel of Yahweh of hosts? The prophecies. Let's pull that up real quick. The counsel of the Lord is the prophecy. All this that's happening in the world that we see is the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Now, depending on what side you're going to play on, that's determined by Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. Isaiah 46:10, declaring the end from the beginning. What is that? That's prophecy. And from the ancient times, the things that are not yet done. For example, when Apostle John was exiled on the island of Patmos, which was in the Mediterranean Sea during the Roman Empire, he was given revelations of things that would surely come to pass, one of which was the implantable technology. So that ancient time, the Roman Empire, there was things that was shown unto him that was not yet done. Apostle John basically seen the fourth industrial revolution, which is made in technology in man. You understand? Saying, my counsel shall stand and I will do all my pleasure. So the counsel of the Lord is prophecy. The pleasure of the Lord is prophecy. And that's what the men of the Lord delight in. Or in fact, when you read in Revelation 19, it speaks about, The testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy, and that's the vibration all the great men of the Lord was in. All right. So once again, Isaiah 19:17, in the land of Judah shall be a terror unto Egypt. Every one that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself because of the counsel of Yahweh of hosts, which he hath determined against it. So, all this that we seeing is the counsel of the Lord. Now, let's tune into this video here.
Layoffs and pay cuts loom over Wall Street amid a bear market, and IPO issuance is plunging 95% this year. Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Alexandra Semenova here with me at the desk. I guess this is kind of inevitable. In some ways, we've already started to hear that commentary about job cuts from many companies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're seeing announcements every day, it seems, from companies laying off workers or curbing hiring. But so far, this has been concentrated in real estate and technology, and Wall Street appears to be the next sector to see this. This is something that the industry is largely preparing for, especially after we just saw second quarter bank earnings roll in. Although many...
And we just read in Isaiah 19 that there shall be no work in Egypt for the head or tail. All right, the head, that will represent individuals that's working in real estate, working on the stock markets, all right, working in the tech industries. So if they're laying off there, what about Jake that's working warehouse jobs, working at Amazon, working, for the post office, working, for a lot of these different delivery services, especially in areas like Sacramento. That's like the tech hub. So you would have delivery jobs thrive there because, these people that work in the tech field, they just order their food and have, you bring it there. So if there's going to be job layoffs, that means a lot of people ain't going to be ordering food around lunchtime. The Ubers is going to slow up, so on and so forth. All right. It's just going to be a domino effect. Like she said, oh yeah, it's just starting over here, but hey, it's a domino effect what we're going to experience. Let's continue on.
Many banks did report results that were better than Wall Street estimated. Revenue was still down across the board. We saw a tremendous decline in deal-making activity amid the war in Ukraine and overall market volatility that has weighed on banks' bottom lines, making it inevitable that some forms of cost-cutting are going to come. And obviously, they're going to come in the form of reducing bonuses and getting rid of some workers. On the bonus front, a new report from the compensation consulting firm Johnson Associates estimates that bankers who underwrite debt and equity are expected to see their incentive pay plunge 45%, while those in M&A could see bonuses slump 25%. And as far as layoffs go, this is something that is set to happen too. The New York Post reported a couple of weeks ago that at a bank lunch with executives from all the prominent banks, the topic of discussion was layoffs, and that they were expecting this as soon as the fall. And in a recent earnings call with Goldman Sachs, they were already implying that this is bound to happen. They said that they would bring back performance reviews for bankers, which historically have been designed to weed out like the underperforming bankers. So they're preparing to.
So bottom line, this is happening all across the board. But like I said, you got articles like this that are, sow confusion. You understand? All these jobs being added. All right, but there are jobs that, you got to work 2 and 3 and 4 different jobs in order to sustain some comfortability, with today's inflation. All right. Now, she would, represent a, financial advisor or economist. When we go to Ecclesiastes 12:1, it says, and it's entitled, Remember the Most High in Your Youth. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth. You want to come in the truth when you're young. All right. That way you can put your effort, your strength, your energy into it. While the evil days come not, Jacob's trouble, nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. When you get old, or, you don't want to be an individual that's out here that's old as hell, set in your ways. And then, when the truth get presented to you, you have no pleasure in it. It says, while the sun or the light or the moon and the stars be not darkened, which this is twofold. These lights represents knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. All right. Not darkened, because the scriptures do speak about a famine of the word. It's going to come a time where the prophets, they're going to lay their hands on their mouth and they're not going to be able to rebuke, as it's written in the prophecies. And also, the other side of this is that nuclear destruction. During World War III, when these nukes, be shot off, they come to Babylon the Great. Once they hit ground zero, it's going to produce what the scriptures call a the heavens lifted, rolled together as a scroll or a mushroom cloud. You understand? It says, nor the clouds return after the rain, the nuclear rain. So you want to basically come in the truth before the destruction comes. It says, in the days when the keepers of the house shall tremble. When you look up the word economist or economy, it says household management, right? So this is speaking about the economists, the financial advisors, different individuals that know particular things about the stock markets and the health of the economy. It says, in a day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. Why would they tremble? Because they see a dark future. Jobs is cutting back, hiring slowdowns, layoffs, slashing jobs, cutting workforce. It's happening to many companies. Work needs decline. All right. You got public health emergencies. People's finna be not working in these public places. So they're looking at a economic slowdown. Then, the certain CPI, the consumer price indexes, the GDP, the global domestic product, these different measurements that they look at to gauge the health of the economy is all in the negatives. You understand? And it's consecutive quarters. So they're trembling. And the strong men shall bow themselves. And we already see how American military is weak. Scripture speak about how the men of Babylon for born to fight. You don't have people joining the military. And then when you examine the military, you got people of diverse lifestyles. You got two spirits there. You got people of the alphabet community in there. But this military is weak. And the grinders cease because they are few. That's the jobs. They're going to cease. It says, and those that look out of the windows be not darkened. Why? Because they don't see a bright future. These economists, these different individuals who look at, the economic health, the data, they don't see a bright future. They're looking at the windows and it's dark. It says, and the door shall be shut in the streets. It's going to go back to shutdowns, lockdowns, executive orders, legislation signed, curfews, martial law, all these particular things. All right. When the sound of the grinding is low, the jobs come down. And he shall rise up at the voice of the bird early morning, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Yeah, the entertainment. Entertainment is brought low. The music, the sports, so on and so forth. So this is all a part of prophecy, and it's just going to continue to get worse. Now, over here in Second Esdras, read a little bit of this and we'll close out. More prophecy, more end time prophecy. Second Esdras 16 and 35. Hear now these things and understand them, ye servants of the Lord. The servants of the Lord are the prophets. We're supposed to be understanding these things. We're not supposed to be shaken up like everybody else in the world. We're holy. Holy meaning separate, set apart. Let these people of the world worried about, the different things that's coming upon the world. We ain't supposed to worry about that. It's commanded to us that we supposed to let go from these moral thoughts and cast away the burdens of man and put now off the weak nature. So that means we got to put on the strong nature. And that starts off with this truth. We're supposed to set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto us and hasty to flee from these times. Why? Because greater evils than those which thou hast seen shall be done hereafter. Quoting 2 Esdras 14 verses 14 on down. We're supposed to understand these things. Behold, the word of Yahweh, receive it. Hey, James, the first chapter speaks about receiving the engrafted word, which is able to save your soul. All right. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake, yet these false gods. You can throw Esau in it. Just like we saw in this report right here, Joe Biden talking about we got, expected job increase, all these jobs added to payroll, and people getting, the dignity of peace of mind. Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. These people are set up to be deceivers. Never trust thy enemy. All these basic precepts that, bros should be, replaying in their mind. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 10. Esau gonna tell you all kind of shit that how you thinking you in peace and safety, but as it's written, sudden destruction gonna come. So you got to keep watching. 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. All right, we seeing this monkey business taking root. It's looking just like how I was looking at the end of 2019, going into 2020. All right, a woman as when a woman with child in the ninth month bringeth forth her son, within 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains can pass her womb, which pains, when a child coming forth, they slack not a moment. So the time period that we're entering into is like a woman that's finna be in a process of having labor. You have the contractions, which the contractions intensify when you get closer to the child coming out. So, we're getting closer to the end to when your Howard Shy coming. So these different labor pains is finna increase. It's finna get hot out here. It's finna get dark outside. Remember when your parents used to tell you that, come on in here, come on in the house, it's finna get dark. All right. Well, it's finna get dark out here. Very dark. It says, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn. Yeah, you worried about you losing your job. What about when there's no food, no water, no electricity out here? Fuck the job. How you gonna see at night? And sorrow shall come upon it on every side. Oh, my people, hear my word. And the only ones that's gonna hear the word is the elect, the remnant, the Israel, the Most High. The only ones that's gonna delight in this truth is those who delight in Yahweh Shai. All right, the word. Hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and even in those evils, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. Yeah, man, because you're gonna have to go off the grid, like David did. It's gonna be so hot in the cities and different neighborhoods and areas, man. It's like, fuck it, I gotta leave. And here's the point: he that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that shall lose. And he that occupieth merchandise, as he that have no profit by it. That's your businesses, because Jake priding themselves on them black businesses. These black businesses not gonna thrive. We got the curses on us. Your black business isn't gonna be successful. And he that buildeth, as he that shall not dwell therein. Are you buying houses? It says, he that soweth, as he should not reap. So also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not get grapes, farming. They that marry, as though they shall not get children, marriages. And they that marry not, as the widows. And therefore they that labor in vain. Why? Because all the work is going to be taken out of Egypt. All right. This all the stuff that you put your effort in the world is not going to be beneficial for you. Only thing that's going to be beneficial is this truth. Why? Because righteousness delivereth from death. Let's see. Let's close out with that. Speak about righteousness delivereth from death. Let's get this. Righteousness delivereth from death. Yeah. So it's all in the prophecies that jobs is fit to be the grinding shall cease, so the jobs is gonna stop. Let me see. Proverbs 11:4. Riches profit not in a day of wrath. All this money that you got in your bank account, property, all this carnal, tangible shit that you look at as riches. It's not going to profit you in the day of wrath. It's not going to profit you when all hell breaking loose out here, man. But as it says, righteousness delivered from death, the work that you put in as far as you serving the Lord, all right, your faith, your works, the different things that the Lord put the Spirit on you to do, you know, that is what's going to deliver from death. That is what's going to enable a hedge of protection out here with all hell breaking loose. And it's a famine and it's pestilence and it's diseases out here. So, hey, it's getting dark outside. Lord willing, you're edified through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the true names of the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone and taught us his truth. Shalom, Akim, stay strong.